Then we had number 9 Texas Tech going on the road at Houston, and this was a very interesting undefeated matchup where even though Houston was undefeated, they felt kind of fraudulent. They were barely beating teams like Oregon State, wasn't too impressive, and Texas Tech coming into this had blown out just about every team that they played. And it was the same story here. Texas Tech went on the road, and I know it's the same state, but a road game's a road game. They went on the road at Houston and blew them out 35-11. Texas Tech looks really great, Jack, and it could have been more because they settled for a lot of field goals. What are your thoughts on that game, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, this was very impressive from Texas Tech, and they continue to look like one of the best teams in college football for sure. I mean, just blowing out every opponent they come across. And Houston, they were undefeated coming into this, but they were a little bit shaky, as you said, with that last week against Oregon State in overtime. But we could definitely see this coming that it was going to be a blowout with last week. But they just continue to look so impressive. I mean, every opponent this year they've beaten by 20 or more. They doubled their yards. They doubled Houston's yards this game. They just completely dominated. I mean, it was close early, but like, and it. I mean, it could have been even worse with those field goals, like you said. But like, they look like
Right.
one of the scariest teams in college football right now. And I think that was a great place of their bye week because last week they had a bye because Morton got injured and Hammond came in, balled out, but he looked great coming back from that injury. He just this team is just clicking right now, and I think they could be a problem for a lot of teams.
Right. And this team is built with so much money. I mean, in the transfer portal, Texas Tech was one of the biggest spenders in that area, and it is paying off because now they're number 9 in the country, and I definitely think that that's too low for them. Texas Tech's really good, and I think they're definitely the front runner in that Big 12, which is becoming tighter and tighter every week. And it's kind of becoming a type of thing where when we came into the season, we thought it was pretty open ended. We were like Kansas State, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Utah. Like it's so flooded with teams. Now it feels like Texas Tech's kind of the favorite. It's all about who gets to play them. And I think that's probably what's going to happen because Texas Tech looks so great. And you saw what they did against an
Yeah.
undefeated Big 12 team in Houston, and they housed them. They played a
Mhm.
Utah team that was undefeated at the time and ranked above them at the time, and they housed them on the road. And it was close for a lot of the game, but they ended up pulling away and really dominated Utah in the fourth quarter. So very interesting. And I think Texas Tech, I don't know how much you want to put stock into like the playoffs, how deep they'll go, but I feel like they gotta at least be in the playoffs, you would think. And I think they're probably going to be the Big 12 winner. We'll see how it shakes out. I think they definitely have a great chance to be in that game. And then even if they lose, they might still make the playoff. Texas Tech's really good, Jack. I think they have a bright future this season.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And it really feels like this is their conference to lose right now.
Right.
I mean, you could point to Arizona State or BYU or TCU, but like none of those teams have looked as solid as Texas Tech. And bit of news this week is Texas Tech just changed their logo recently. They kind of went back to an old logo. And I know a lot of people are hating on this, but I kind of get where they're coming from because like this is really a turning point for Texas Tech specifically in the football department because they've been great in basketball. They made it to the national championship for March Madness before, but like their football program has really not shined as much as probably they wanted to. So I get why they kind of want
Mhm.
a change in atmosphere there. So I don't mind it at all. Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like it's taken the soul out of it. I
yeah,
feel like it looked a lot cooler. And in this new one, like the black is gone. It's just the red and white. It feels pretty basic. And I feel like in the college football world, there's so many logos that are all copy and like cookie cutter logos, and pretty much just like the SC of USC is like on so many teams. Like so many teams have
right.
done that. And it just feels like the T on top of the T, it looks so clean, and the way they have it inside, like it is really cool. But like a reason why it's so cool is because like with the way the red contrasts with the black and then the white lines, the way it all comes together is very cool and it's very well designed. And then you look at this new one and it just has no heart. It's devoid of all the soul. It's just the red with the white in between. The black's gone. There's no patterns anymore. The whole like shading thing they were doing with kind of how it slants between the red and the black with the white lines in between, it's all gone. It's just the red with the white lines. I get it's not terrible, but I just feel like it's such a downgrade because I feel like the current one they have is really cool, and I think removing the black is a very big mistake, Jack.
Right, I agree. I prefer the old one too, but you're coming from, like, this is they want, like, some teams just do that. I know the Pistons did this recently, and, like, just teams just change their logo, like, for to, like, bring in this or usher in this new era and, like, not be concerned too much with the past. Um, and I don't think it looks as good, but, like, I kinda get where they're coming from to, like, really just set this era apart from, like, the past ones, uh, and really, like, claim this as their own. And because uh, this team just looks like one of the best Texas Tech teams I've seen in a minute. So I don't mind the change as much as some other people, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like how it's all these rebrands of like companies and like like anything where it feels like it's just modernized, simplified logos that aren't as cool, that are devoid of all heart. Where we look at teams like TCU, how they removed a key part on their jerseys with the almost like Wakanda Black Panther style of the horns necklace type thing. And it's just like, man, like all this simplifying and modernizing really sucks because the amount of patterns they have where it's like, if they were to switch it up a little bit, but like getting rid of the black completely, and then the patterns are just gone. It's just the red and the white. I
Right.
just I understand wanting to usher in the new era. I get that, and I get wanting to bring more attention, especially with how good they are. So I understand the move, but they could have done so much better. And I would have liked maybe you say like maybe doing better is too much to ask because the current one is so great. So I get that, but it's just like the downgrade is so crazy to me, Jack.
Right. And this is a logo they've used before, like back in like the 80s and 90s, I think.
Right.
So I get they're kind of like trying to send a love letter to like the past and like bring in the past with the future. I get it, but like, yeah, I don't like it as much, and it kind of takes the soul out of it. But like, they're bringing back a classic logo, I guess. So I don't mind it as much.
Right. Well, then you bring it in as like a secondary logo, or you bring in throwback jerseys where you
Right.
wear it on the helmets. Like, you know,
Right.
it's
Right.
just not near as good. Like USF,
Yeah, I get where you're coming
like
from.
South Florida just did
Yeah.
this, where they wore their classic unis and they wore their old fashioned logo on their helmets. Where it's like that would have been like I just don't understand replacing it because it's
Right.
just not near as cool. And
Right.
I understand it, but I just can't get with it. It's just not as cool, and it really is just such a downgrade, and devoids one of the key colors of their team, which is black. So, yeah, it's just
Hmm.
not something that I agree with, and I understand it was an old logo, but they really did peak with this last one, and I would have been more fine with it if they didn't get rid of the black and all of the patterns completely. So I think that was my main issue with it, Jack.
Right. No, I see where you're coming from. I get it, but I don't think there should be like that much outrage because I've definitely seen a lot worse from teams where they just take the soul out of it and they don't. It's not even a past logo where they're not even really trying to like uh, honor the past in a way.
Right.
So I don't really give this as much slack as some other teams that have done it. So, like, as you brought up, that TCU, their uniforms are not even as close as good as they were before after they made that change. But yeah, I mean, I again, I get why they did it. I mean, this Texas Tech team is just so good this year.
What I don't get is they could have just made a new one though. Like, I do understand wanting to go to the classic, but when it devoids the one of the main colors that you've been developing over the years, is that black has kind of become their staple with the scarlet and the black. Where it's just like now the logo is devoid of that, and I feel like it's not up with the times. Like, just wear classic jerseys, just wear those classic uniforms with that on the helmets. Like I would like I understand the modernizing and the simplifying does suck, but I feel like no black at all because is wild. Because when you look at the logo, you can kind of see why they would want to update it. Because maybe there's
Right.
some things that don't look as great. Maybe they wanted just to split it the red and black, or maybe just make it a little more clean. Because it is kind of awkward in some spots, but I think that's why it's so great because it's different. Because it's not run of the mill. Because it's not cookie cutter. And that's what I really liked about it. And I feel like that's kind of what this old logo kind of misses the point. And I know it's not like a lot of the other ones because they don't have the university part where it's just the letter and then the U just in the USC type style. But I still think it's very generic and I think they could do better. I still think they're a great team. Yeah. And I don't hate it. It just feels like such a downgrade personally. But they have one of the better logos in college football because it's not generic like a lot of them. So it does suck. At least it is a classic and not just a random simplifying thing that they're doing. But I would have liked to see a lot better from Texas Tech.